Welcome to the channel. Good morning, everyone. And why not talk a little NFL today? Court is in session with your guy, Jonathan Mathis, the sports judge. The guy we've been discussing the most ahead of what should be a crazy offseason is Myles Garrett because he impacts the game so much with his ability to take down the quarterback, a trait that I think teams will gravitate towards, and one of them is his ability to be a threat on the edge. And the one pass rusher I think can come in and immediately disrupt an offense is Myles Garrett. He's had some moments in games where he shows he's a run stopper, an enforcer, an elite passer. I know we've been heavy on the Myles Garrett talk. Myles Garrett this, Myles Garrett that. Early last month, Garrett publicly announced that he's demanding a trade. Can't blame him. I really can't blame him. He wants to go somewhere where he knows he has a real shot at winning something. I don't think he'll win anything in Cleveland. Very competitive guy. In Cleveland with the Browns, his career has just been wasted. And I'll say this, in the right fit, it wouldn't surprise me if there's a few sleeper teams looking at him and kind of later on sneak up to try to get him. For me, he had to ask for a trade. He had to ask for this. He needs to get out of there. It's his only chance to win an NFL championship. And I believe he needs to go to a team with an established defense or a defensive-minded coach. This is a guy who wants to win and has made it abundantly clear that he has no intention of playing for the Cleveland Browns in 2025. Next stop, where does he go from here? Where is he going to end up? This is a guy who, of course, reminded us that he wants to go to a contender and go somewhere he can truly help them contend for a championship. Myles Garrett would be a hell of an addition and would no doubt be an immediate impact guy wherever he goes or wherever he plays. You can certainly almost expect him to provide an impact wherever he goes. He's that type of player. Minnesota, Atlanta, Washington, and yes, I put them on the list as well. The Dallas Cowboys, well, I think all those teams make the best sense, right? So I think a couple of things, right? A place I really like for him is Washington, and where he's going, who knows? It's speculation, but a place where he can contend, I believe, is Washington. He's going to get all the love, and he's going to make the most sense there as well, because the Commanders, for one, are in dire need of a premier defensive player. You got a stud quarterback over there in Jaden Daniels. The offense was top notch, but the defense still needs some work, obviously, which was quite evident after that blowout loss to the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC championship game. This coming a year after going 4-13, it was an impressive turnaround. What a turnaround it was for the Washington Commanders. I think the Atlanta Falcons are definitely going to be another team in the mix looking at Myles Garrett. No doubt he's a necessity for a team like Atlanta. Atlanta hasn't really had an edge rusher since John Abraham. That's been years. So I think Myles Garrett would be a force of nature in Atlanta. You know what he would do for them? The Atlanta Falcons? Bolster the defense for sure, help provide defensive stability, and create a stronger foundation for future success. For me, I'm also looking at this Minnesota team. And the way they looked last season, coming off a surprise 14-3 season, you have a contending team that got overlooked in the general conversation last season. I can see them being aggressive and adding a defensive player, and especially having overachieved in a huge way last season. I think the Vikings are the most interesting team because they're kind of left at a crossroads, right? I don't know. Do you recapture lightning in a bottle with Sam Darnold and hope for a repeat of last season's success? Or do you stick to your evaluation of J.J. McCarthy and prioritize his development? Their defense showed promising growth this season after bolstering the pass rush, and now they have a chance to make it better by potentially adding Myles Garrett. I believe the Minnesota Vikings have the resources to pull off a trade for Garrett. You can facilitate a 3-team trade around Myles Garrett. Do you sacrifice more draft capital to get Garrett? Dallas Turner may be the most valuable piece if they can turn him into a draft pick as part of a Myles Garrett trade. The news that the Cleveland Browns pass rusher Myles Garrett requested a trade threw teams into a frenzy, coming up with, trade packages and everything. Myles Garrett to the Eagles. Man. In theory, if the Eagles actually did land Myles Garrett, that would be absolutely terrifying. A defensive line that features Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, and Myles Garrett? I think the Eagles should potentially consider a trade for Myles Garrett. And this is exactly what Howie Roseman does. So it would not surprise me at all if he makes a massive move for Garrett. He loves offensive and defensive linemen. Josh Sweat is a free agent. Milton Williams is a free agent. Brandon Graham is expected to retire. Bryce Huff was a healthy scratch during the Super Bowl. Suddenly, you look at that defense, and it's pretty thin along the line of scrimmage. And as we know, the Philadelphia Eagles are very cheap on defense. They spent a ton of money on offense, but they have Huff making a lot of money. I think you try to eat some of that money. You trade Bryce Huff. This offseason, Darius Slay is a potential salary cap casualty. Trade Slay, a second-round pick this year, a fifth-rounder next year, and a third next year for Myles Garrett. They don't spend a lot of money on defense. They have a lot of guys on rookie deals, so they can afford Myles Garrett on that defensive side of the ball. And if Myles Garrett wants to contend and really wants to get on a title contender, then I think his best choice is the Eagles. If you want out of Cleveland to have a chance to go to a team where you can win a Super Bowl, well, why not join the team that just demoralized the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl? If you think your window is right now that you could do something where you repeat as champions, be in this conversation, then I say this is a move you make. No hesitation. Make this move. Make it happen. I think he's somebody you would want on your team because Myles Garrett has been the best defensive player in the NFL for the last decade. Now, last season, you saw a bit of a drop-off in production, but I think with a change of scenery and coming to a team like Philly, he'll find joy in football again. Myles Garrett to the Eagles feels Like, it just makes so much sense. And if he does join Philadelphia, then it's over for the rest of the NFC. It's over. It's pretty much a wrap. Myles Garrett to the Eagles guarantees another Super Bowl for Philly. All right, everyone. It's been nice chatting once again. I hope you guys are having a great weekend. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Saturday. I'm doing well. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in and checking out the content. Without you guys, I'm nobody. So I thank you guys wholeheartedly for investing your time and your weekend to check out my work and everything. And if you guys like the content, you guys know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. If you guys are already subscribed, that's awesome. And you guys can find me on various platforms. I'm all over the place. You can see my face everywhere. I'm on Instagram, SportsJudge85. I'm on TikTok, the SportsJudge85. Man, I'm everywhere. Keep up with your boy, the Sports Judge. Thanks for dropping in this morning. Really appreciate the love and support. But we'll talk again very soon, guys. I gotta go. And enjoy the start of March. Yes, it is March 1st today. Crazy how fast the year is already going by. But guys, we'll talk again very soon. Thanks for checking out the content. As always, great stuff. Great to have you guys. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.